Hi there, welcome to kneppyinvests. In this video, I will be focusing on a company I really haven't talked before, and that is Frontier Digital Ventures. And even though I haven't really talked about this company in the past, I've been following this company ever since they listed on the ASX. And the main reason I have been following this company is simply because of the CEO founder. I am a fan, and the main reason I am a fan of the CEO is because of his history. He began as a general manager at the REA Group. Then he became the CEO of a company called iProperty. Now, iProperty was listed on the ASX, and I was a shareholder of that company. And that company, as soon as it hit an inflection point, a very important inflection point, they were bought out by REA Group. And then after they were bought out by REA Group, the CEO then formed Frontier Digital Ventures. He knows what he is doing, and because he knows what he's doing, I am always going to be interested in his next step. So before we have a look at Frontier Digital Ventures September quarter Appendix 4C, just a few facts in regards to this company. As you probably could have figured out by the CEO's founder's history in REA Group and iProperty, and the fact that he is quite experienced in this area, Frontier Digital Ventures is in online marketplaces. Marketplaces is just another word for classifieds, and that's what we just call them now, online marketplaces. But they're really focused in emerging markets. So REA Group was focused in Australia, IProperty was focused in Southeast Asia, and a lot of the businesses, so Frontier Digital Ventures is sort of an aggregator of these online marketplaces. They have a numerous amount of businesses spread throughout emerging markets. They don't always own 100% of these businesses. Sometimes they only have maybe 50%. Some they do own 100%, but they're spread throughout emerging markets. For instance, their biggest business is actually located in Pakistan, of all places. Frontier Digital Ventures was founded in May 2014, just after IProperty was bought out by REA Group and listed on the ASX in August 2016. And the CEO and founder that I've been talking about and have been praising is Shaun Di Gregorio. He also has a 10.8% stake in Frontier Digital Ventures. I do like CEO founder-led companies because a lot of times that means their interests are aligned with shareholders. Apparently there is a sweet spot, maybe it's something like between 10% and 30% ownership of founders to be the sweet spot. And when you do get percentages larger than that, they tend to be over-owned by owners. And when you see founder owners with a very small amount, that tends to not be as powerful as a signal. So it seems like he's right in that sweet spot. Now, don't quote me on that 10 to 30%. It's somewhere like that, but there has been research done on this. One of the major shareholders is Catcher Group. They have 13.1% stake. And the market cap of Frontier Digital Ventures is $60 million. That's at $1.70. When I did set up this video, that's what the share price was. This was quite a few days ago. Share price has slipped back from that $1.77. Now, I mentioned I have been following this company for quite a while as a non-shareholder. When the share price did dip recently to $1.70, I decided to take a position at that point in time. The only thing I am a little bit wary about is the market cap, 600 million, but that has room to grow from here. And they are getting very close to that very important inflection point of being operational cash flow positive. They've mentioned this in their September quarter Appendix 4C commentary, so it seems to be a focus for management to be operational cash flow positive. And I think the market is expecting this company to reach that inflection point in the next quarter or maybe the quarter after. And when it does, I think this company will take off. It already seems to be taken off right now, but I think you'll see greater interest in this company over the next few years. So I've just decided to take a position now, and it's definitely a long-term buy and hold. The only thing I hope doesn't happen is they get bought out just like iProperty was bought out as soon as they hit inflection point. I think iProperty had a lot more room to grow from that time they were bought out. And the ticker code for Frontier Digital Ventures is, naturally enough, FDV. I've already mentioned that Frontier Digital Ventures is an aggregator of online marketplaces through emerging markets. Here's a list of some of the businesses they do own outright or have an ownership in. The most successful business is in Pakistan at the #1 property portal, Zameen. They also have businesses through South America, Central America, Morocco, Philippines, Tunisia, Ghana, Sri Lanka, Nigeria. So lots of businesses within emerging markets throughout the world. And they seem to be continually buying new ones or taking positions in ones throughout the world. So we're going to see this list grow over the next few years. I am a big fan of online marketplaces, in particular non-mature areas like emerging markets. I think in Australia and Western worlds, these online marketplaces are becoming a little bit more mature and there's less room for growth. But these sort of businesses, online marketplaces in the emerging markets, have a lot of room to grow over the next decade, particularly because residents, people in these countries, are starting to get more internet access at a greater rate. Most people in Western countries already have that internet access. So that's why I think and believe that Frontier Digital Ventures has a lot of room to grow over the next decade, particularly if they keep on expanding into other countries and adding to their portfolio. In saying all that, one of the reasons I didn't take a position in Frontier Digital Ventures, even though I was excited about the potential of this company, was the growth in Frontier Digital Ventures wasn't that good, for me anyway, during the first few years. But we're starting to see this company grow at a greater rate. So what I want to show you now is some of their financials for financial year 20 compared to financial year 17. Revenue only doubled from 9.2 million to 20.8 million over that 3-year period. Gross margins have improved from 27 to 33%. Now, Frontier Digital Ventures is not profitable and not operating cash flow positive, but they have improved those two over the last 3 years. So they've gone from being operating cash flow negative by 7 million to being only negative by 2 million. Non-profitable, about $13 million, both in 2017 and 19. Lots of cash on hand, 59 million. Price to sales ratio is at 28.8. So again, with the market cap of about 600 million, enterprise value of about 550 million. The market is expecting this company to grow quite considerably over the next 5 years to meet the valuation. So this company needs to grow to meet that valuation. And I am expecting this company to grow, and I think the growth could probably beat market expectations. That's why I am, again, another reason I am excited about this company. Now let's have a look at their Appendix 4Cs, comparing their September quarter from financial year 20 to the September quarter this financial year. Just wanted to see a year-on-year comparison. Cash receipts for this quarter, 1 year ago, 3.9 million. They were nearly operational cash flow positive, only negative by 269,000. That's always a good sign that a company is almost operational cash flow positive. They had a fair bit of cash on hand as well. In fact, they increased the cash on hand during this quarter because of a capital raising, $6.3 million capital raising, and they finished this quarter with $23.2 million. I like companies to have a lot of cash on hand. It gives management the flexibility to grow the company in the future. They can use that cash for acquisitions, research and development, that sort of things. And I do think the best use of cash for Frontier Digital Ventures is acquisitions. And I think management agree with me. Now let's have a look at the most recent Appendix 4C for the September quarter in financial year 21. And this company has expanded quite quickly over the past year. And this is one of the reasons I've become particularly interested in taking a position in this company. In fact, not only interested, I have taken a position. Receipts from customers grew by about $10 million. Now, even though receipts did grow, they're still operational cash flow negative by a small amount, $367,000. One of the reasons they're still negative is because we have seen significant increases in some of their costs. For instance, staff costs have increased from 1.6 million to 5 million, so that's a triple in staff costs. Advertising and marketing increased from about 500,000 to 2.8 million, and product manufacturing and operating costs increased from 1.3 to 5.2 million. They also spent a little bit of money on financing and investing activities, but not a lot. And because of that, they did lose $1.5 million in cash, but finished a quarter with $17.2 million. Because Frontier Digital Ventures own quite a few online marketplaces around the world, it's always good to know how each online marketplace is performing. And they do provide this in their financial report. This table is straight from their Appendix 4C activity report. They also break down their percentage ownership in the first column, and then they compare third quarter 2021 revenue to third quarter 2020 revenue. So this is the September quarter comparison because their financial year, Frontier Digital financial year, is the calendar year. So even though Zamin is the best performing online marketplace, they only own 30% of that business. A lot of these other companies, they own 100%. Some companies, they own 26%. So Zamin is the best performing company in terms of overall revenue, and even because they only own 30%, it's still their best performing company, and we've seen 66% growth in Zamin. But InfoCasas is catching up very quickly. In fact, revenue for that business has grown from about $700,000 to 4.3 million, 521% increase in 1 year. They've made some acquisitions, so you'll see that represented by that dash in the third quarter 2020. In fact, 4 acquisitions in the past year. And not all the online marketplaces are performing. We've seen some companies actually go quite a bit backwards. For instance, CarsDB, right at the bottom there, has lost 86% revenue in the past year. So they're really relying on those top performers like Zamin, InfoCasas, and 3 acquisitions they made in the past year, Yapo, Fincarez, and Avito. So this company is growing at a really good rate, and if Zamin and InfoCasas keep on growing, we're going to see this company become operational cash flow positive and make more acquisitions, particularly if they become operational cash flow positive by a larger amount because of that flexibility that's given to management who have more cash on hand to play with. And it does seem like Frontier Digital Venture Management are focused on becoming operating cash flow positive. They actually mention this in their commentary. They are approaching cash flow break even. They're emphasizing this. The acquisition of some of these companies meant they were not as operating cash flow positive or negative, or more operating cash flow negative during the fourth quarter of 2020 and the first quarter of 2021. But they are progressing towards becoming cash flow break even. The fact they're mentioning this and they are focused on this is very important to me because I do believe this is a very important inflection point for any company. And when I see management focused on this, this means their interests align with my own. I have been following Frontier Digital Ventures since they listed on the ASX way back in 2016. Now, even though I have been following this company, we didn't see significant growth through the next 3 years, even though it did go from 660,000 to say 3.9 million in the December quarter 2019. But the growth wasn't really quick. Now, Frontier Digital Ventures was impacted by COVID-19. You can see cash receipts fall from 5.6 million in the March quarter 2020 to 2.4 million in the June quarter and then 3.9 million in the September quarter. But the growth in receipts since then has really taken off. In fact, it's grown from 5.6 million in the March quarter 2020 to 13.4 million in the latest quarter. Now, a lot of that growth is because of acquisitions, but there's also been organic growth. And the fact there has been organic growth also interests me as well because you need organic growth. You can't just grow through acquisitions. They're doing that, but we also need to see that organic growth, and we have seen that particularly in some of their biggest companies. The market generally likes Frontier Digital Ventures because the share price has been going up ever since they listed on the ASX way back in 2016. Share price back then was around 50 cents, or roughly around there, and the share price now is between about $1.70 and $1.75. General uptrend. The share price right now is near an all-time high. The all-time high for this company is just over $2, which was reached towards the start of this year, and we have moved towards that area right now. So the trend is up. We do see a little bit of, a little bit of volatility in the share price, and if you ever see the share price of this company dip towards a 200-week moving average, which it did during the COVID-19 financial panic, but particularly if the share price falls towards a 50-week moving average, that could be a good time to buy on value grounds. But right now, a fair bit of positive sentiment behind this company based off the Appendix 4C they just did release, and we have seen the share price take off during that week from $1.50 to $1.80. So right now, fairly bullish in regards to this company, particularly short-term sentiment is fairly bullish, but I think over the long term, 5, 10, even longer than that, there's a lot of things going right for this company, and that's why I do think this is a long-term buy and hold. That's all I have for this September quarter Appendix 4C video for Frontier Digital Ventures. If you do have any questions about this company or any other company on the ASX, I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your questions, so leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.